Yeah, I do feel like our stories get silenced, our narratives get silenced. Um, and I think most women kind of do have similar stories, but as the black voice, ours gets silent quite often on different topics. Um, yeah, you might have to come back to me because I'm just trying to think of all the areas that we do get silence, and I guess why. I guess it's the acceptance of
God. Sorry.
No.
It just hit me. Like, if the black man and the black woman are the mother and father of civilization, then there's a godly type of thing there. Why would you not want to silence that? Why would you not? That's like the all-powerful, all-knowing, the beginning and the end. Like, that's just power. So it would make sense why you would want to kind of like prevent that from being itself. Its true self, its raw self. Like, if everybody comes from us and you've made it a thing to strip us of all that we know, just to indoctrinate us and take us from the truth, the source, you want to silence that. So, in my mind, it's no real surprise why they silence us, slaughter us, confuse us, indoctrinate us, like it kind of makes sense, because just based on other races' actions, they feel inferior, and that's just based on how they've got us, or the constant work they put in to try and like silence us.
60. For me, I think everyone's pretty much said it, but I feel like, as you said, there's layers. So I think first of all, you've got to look at us, even before you look at the race, as women. That's already an issue with some men, that men don't like to feel like they're inferior to women, and sometimes I don't know if it's always necessarily inferior, but it could, because it can be more personal. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it challenges too much of their competencies, their abilities, and everything else. And then you've got the fact that on top of being a woman, you're a black woman. So it's like the acceptance levels of what we should be able to achieve, like just being black. And even if we separate us now from being a woman, as being black people, it's like we're already put in a box of whether it be our achievement levels. Even if we look at things academically, you will hear them say, okay, Africans and Asians are quite high up in terms of knowledgeable records, yeah? But if they don't become doctors, lawyers, or something of that bracket, you don't hear them being pushed as being successful in that same capacity. And the only reason you get that within those brackets is because they're still helping the white man. Do you see what I mean? In a sense, because as much as they may be a hindrance, when you're only going to have a limited amount of people, if they end up in hospital, that's going to be bawling out, well, when I'm in surgery, I don't want a black or an Asian or this or any person of colour treating me. First of all, you're probably not going to know, because your chances are you're going to be knocked out anyway. But when they find out it's that person that's helped them, it's either you go with someone that's the same as yourself and hasn't got the capabilities, or, do you know what I mean? When it comes to that, you're still going to choose whoever's going to save your life. but naturally we get pushed out. We're not in the same bracket as people like that. And then, as I said, being that combined now, it's like two separate entities, two separate powers coming together to make a superpower now. And it's just like, whoa, what's going on? So if you look at it, even when you think about lawyers, again, judges, all of that, you're starting to hear of them more now, but now they're having to be celebrated differently because it's so hard to get there. And it should be the norm, because you don't really hear about black judges, not black judges, you don't really hear about male judges. Oh my gosh, he's become a judge. That's a personal thing within maybe the families or smaller communities, but it's not every time someone becomes a judge, it's on the front page of the news. But when you have a black female judge, it's going to be put out there because they're either the first of that type or they first in general, do you see what I mean? So I think it's, even though it's becoming more common for us to be achieving more or being put out there, that's only because we are forcing that narrative to become that. So I think it's easy, because we're the ones forcing it to be shown, it's still easy enough for us to be shut down. And like Amber was saying, it's like your competition, isn't it? Most people naturally, if you can put your competition behind you and put yourself in a better position, who wouldn't do it? Some people are happy to have healthy competition and use it to push themselves. Others will trip up a person to make sure they stay in the lead, and I think that's what's being done with a lot of it.
That's a mistake.
Black women are the ones. They are the ones. And
Produce everything.
right, like everything comes from the black. That's it.